got Angel calling, but I wanted to get the agriculture director, Chelsa Muna-Brecht, on the line to kind of give us an update on the CARES Act funds that were going to be made available to fishermen on the island. Good morning, Director Chelsa.
Half a day.
Good morning.
Chris. Good morning, Sabrina.
Good morning.
Good morning.
To all your listeners.
So yeah, just an update. I know that when you put out the release on this, there was a registration form you'd sent around, and I remember talking to you. The thinking was that let's start creating a database of, the names of the fishermen, so that when we finally stand up the ability to give this money out,
Or come up with the guidelines,
up with the guidelines, that you have that already taken care of. So where are we with this?
Absolutely. So far, I'm really excited and pleased to say that we received about 438 registration forms to date, and only 104 of those were hard copy. All others were submitted digitally, which I think can push our idea forward of how we can communicate with a lot of our local fishers. We received them via email or even submitted from WhatsApp through email.
Right.
So that was a great start. I just had a call with the Pacific Fisheries Commission last week on Thursday, I believe. It was us, Hawaii, American Samoa, and CNMI on the call. And so the guidance we received from them is that they're still working on, how their structure is going to be. But what they offered us is that we can start developing our applications. So what we have created already was a registration form. So now we know how many we're working with. But the application form is going to be something that's different. It'll be much more comprehensive, and it'll be what's submitted to the Fisheries Commission itself. And the commission will be the one distributing the funds. They pretty much guaranteed that this fund will be 100% audited by the Inspector General's office, and so it just makes it easier if it's all coming from one source. If Guam were to pay out the money or receive the money for payout, we would have to do it on a reimbursement basis, and I'm sorry, but Ag just doesn't have $1 million to pay out and then wait for a reimbursement on. So the application form will be submitted through the Fisheries Commission and then paid out from them. They anticipate it'll be on a first-come, first-served basis. And so with us already having our registry of fishers, we're far ahead of several states and other territories. So we expect to have our application design, completed at least by the first week of July. And we received guidance from the commission on how, prior templates that they've used. They also did inform us that fishers would have to sign a federal affidavit attesting to the truthfulness of the statements that they're making or the losses that they're claiming. I will say that some of the registration forms we received were incomplete, and when our office called people back to ask them information, some people couldn't answer what type of fishing they did. So I think we're going to have a lot of fun vetting the registration forms.
Do we have any idea about the amount of the awards that fishermen are going to be able to get?
Well, the application process will help us with that, because the commission asked us to, in our draft plan that we submit to them, they want us to be able to say a certain amount will be allotted for commercial fishers and a certain portion for sustenance fishers. But on our registration forms, we just ask people to identify what they were so we know how many we're working with. On the application, it'll be much more comprehensive. Commercial fishers will have to demonstrate a 35% economic loss for a certain set of months, and they will have to base that against a 5-year average, and the 5-year average has to be from 2013 through 2019. So let's say from 2013 to 2019, from January to June, they were making $100,000. Then for 2020, they have to show that they were only able to make $65,000 versus that 100. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it sounds like commercial fishermen need to get all their paperwork in order.
Well, I think, and it's not, and I want to remind your audience, our fishers, that it's not just people who were commercial fishers also include charters. So if you were running a charter company and catching fish, that's part of them as well.
Right.
And most of those are all registered with Revenue Tax, so they were filing taxes. They have their invoices. They have their GRT statements. So they should be able to put that information together.
What about the sustenance fishermen?
They'll have to sign an affidavit attesting to the fact that they are fishers, and we're also working reconciling their list with entities like the Fishermen's Co-op, or perhaps even a statement from their mayor saying that they know that this person is a fisher, or even their pastor, anyone. Anyone who can swear that they know that you're a fisher and is willing to, say that for you.
So just for clarification, Guam is receiving 1 million out of the 300 million, right, allocated for
Yes.
fisheries around the country.
Yes, and that includes states like Alaska and Maine, where fishing is one of their primary industries.
Do you, based on the input that you've already received from local fishers, do you believe that's enough?
Well, it's hard to say. I mean, when I look at numbers like 438, I think that it seems like it, but I don't know how much commercial fishers have lost yet. I mean, that was a huge lucrative industry for them, and I don't know what kind of income they were generating from that. So we'll be able to make that. And actually, what I do want to say is that the reason we were given $1 million was based on economic data that had been reported prior to, I guess, commerce through commission.
Right.
So Guam needs a louder voice in all of these proceedings, and we need our fishers to help us provide that data. This is sort of tied to the same issue that happened with the bottom fishing and how there was, threats of fishing allocation limits being put on. It's because we are not able to provide them all of the accurate data. So these decisions are being made based on half information or
Right.
the information.
Right. So you're basically saying if we had the complete data, we could have got way more than $1 million.
If the data supported that, then
Right.
yes.
Right.
Yeah. And I think part of that is that we need to be able to quantify how it impacts sustenance fishers, or quantify, the people who sell fish or give fish to their families, and the people who sell to the fish markets. We're not collecting all of that information yet. And if we can, and if we can create this relationship and have, a trusting exchange of information with the fishers, then we can provide more accurate information to federal entities that provide funds like this.
Is there any sort of a target deadline for you to get the payments out?
We asked that same question of the commission, and they look at a turnaround time of at least 2 weeks. So, but that's if we're earlier in the process. I mean, if we're the last ones to submit our applications, then people are looking at a much larger time frame. So that's why we're pushing to have our application at least ready for the community by the first week of July. And then when the application is done, we share all of that information, and they can submit it directly to the commission.
Is this a local commission or is this a federal commission?
No, this is a federal commission. It's the Pacific Fisheries State Commission. So they oversee the territories and West Coast states.
Okay. So it still could be a while.
I don't know. I mean, they were pretty, in the conversation that we were having with them, it was just, they highly emphasized getting our process done sooner rather than later. Because I don't want to be the one that comes in after all of the other states.
Right.
With, where they have like thousands to, possibly millions of, I don't know about millions, but, several
Yeah, but they
thousand
throw their
fishers
fish
that
back, so.
And so we just want to get Guam in there first.
Right.
Right. All right.
All right.
Anything else?
Oh, Mayor. Did you get the COVID differential pay? Because I didn't see your
No.
name, but it was okay.
No, I did not.
Okay.
But I also know that there were those of us who, I came into the office, I did a lot of work from home, and I came into the office, but I didn't bother turning in a form to claim that either, just because I think there are people who deserve that money much more than I would, just for coming into my office to do my job.
Right. Okay. Well, thank you for that, Chelsa.
But I do want to say our deputy works super hard
Right.
every day at the COVID facilities too.
Right. Yeah. So the deputy Adriancruz got the 25% because he was.
No, he didn't.
Are you sure?
I'm sure. Pretty sure.
I think that's what my FOIA said. I can double check it though.
Yeah. Either way, I know he was there every day working
Right,
with people
yeah,
who were
yeah.
either positive or
Correct.
testing.
And that's why he would be entitled to the top, the 25%.
Yeah, I mean, we had a great conversation about how we would divide our duties, and he said, you just take care of the agency because you have kids, you know, you have a family, and so I felt like he was kind of willing to take the hit for me if he needed to.
Yeah.
For all of us, so, you know, thanks to him for that.
Right. Well, thank you for the info on the fisheries.
All right, thank you so much,
All
guys.
right. Take care.
Take care. Wash your hands.
Every day.
Okay. Bye. There you go. Director of Agriculture.